Welcome in, everybody, to the Jared Barnes Show. I am your host, Jared Barnes. Literally about forgot to unmute my mic to start the show, so we're starting off hot. The boys are here with me today. Tyler, Nate, Micah, they're all here. It's been a great weekend. The NFL was great this weekend, even though my team lost. It sucked. It was a fun weekend to watch football unless you watched primetime games because the primetime games sucked. I mean, Nate, let's be honest. The primetime games kind of sucked. The Sunday night football game was unwatchable unless you love special teams. So I was right at home. Cooper Cush is the guy. That's my takeaway from the weekend. But let's just get this thing started on the roll, going around the NFL. And I'll start with my Pittsburgh Steelers, or the most disappointing team right now currently in the NFL outside of the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't take it no more. I can't watch another snap of a Matt Canada offense. I'm sick of it. He can't call a full game whatsoever. The first half play calling was actually good. We got to the second half, and it was like, what happened? The offense just stopped doing anything whatsoever. Trubisky, it's almost like he can't sit inside the pocket comfortably. And the offensive line has actually shown signs of improvement, yet Mitchell Trubisky has not shown any signs of improvement as the line has improved. He doesn't look comfortable inside the pocket. He wants to scramble outside. He wants to try to make a play while scrambling. And if he wants to be a franchise quarterback, if he wants to continue to be our starting quarterback, which I personally don't want him to be, it's time for Kenny Pickett to come in this week. He should start the game. It would turn our season around. And a lot of people are saying it. Brian McFadden said it today on 93.7 The Fan. Ryan Clark said it on 93.7 The Fan today, back home in Pittsburgh. A few people back home in PA. And I think it's time. I think it's Pickett time. It's time. Trubisky can't do it no more. We might not have Micah in this game. We need the offense to actually score some points. Micah got his head blown off in the first quarter early by Nick Chubb. He took a knee right to his helmet, played the entire game, probably concussed. And Micah's now in the concussion protocol, and we're sitting possibly without our second best defensive player because our first best defensive player is on the sidelines for at least the next couple weeks. We can't afford to lose Micah. Our offense has to score points this week, which is why we need to start Kenny. Listen, changes need to happen on the offense. It's time to bring Kenny in. I'm tired of it. Tomlin, make the change. People are sick of Canada. The fans are sick of him. The wide receivers are sick of him. Bring in Kenny Pickett. It'll make the difference. Tyler, that's my rant about the Steelers. I have nothing else to say. I'm very frustrated with Pittsburgh. We should not be 1-2 right now. We should easily be at least 2-1. We should be 3-0. We should have been able to beat the Patriots. Okay? We should have been able to beat the Browns. I mean, we made Jacoby Brissett look like a franchise quarterback, and he's never once looked like that in his entire career. Okay? We should be 3-0. We beat the Bengals. We shouldn't have. But we started the season 1-0. We've lost 2 straight. I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'm sick of it. Tyler, your thoughts on the Ravens? I can't even trash talk you this week because we suck so bad.
I imagine Kenny Pickett's probably sitting somewhere nice right now.
Yeah, now
Nobody can hear you. Dude.
Oh, holy cow!
What's going on?
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, I can't hear you. Audio issues here, folks. The show is off to a hot start today.
Hello?
No, can't hear you. Don't know what happened. Could just be me. Is it just me?
Hello?
Oh, he's there.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Welcome in, Tyler, to the show. Congratulations to the boy.
I imagine Kenny Pickett's sitting somewhere nice right now. Yeah, that seems up. Hello. There we go.
I apologize, everybody, for the rough start.
I'll try to talk a bit. I'll try to talk a bit louder. As I was saying, I imagine Kenny Pickett's probably sitting somewhere nice right now, and it's a Marvel scene where he's Thanos. He's like, you couldn't live with your own failures, so where does that bring you? And he just has a baby mitt instead of the gauntlet because his hands couldn't fit in it.
At least he can throw a football.
But as for the Ravens this week, it was a good week. We had a win over the Patriots. I won't say it was a perfect game. It was far from it, actually. our defense has had a lot of struggles. Um, and our offense is really being carried by our QB right now. I'm not gonna lie. Lamar Jackson is doing a lot more than he should
Yeah,
have.
he's a dog. Lamar Jackson's a dog.
He's a
Ravens are never going to be able to afford to pay him.
No, no. They like he had 3 or 4 major runs last game, all for like first down, I believe, or goal. I think actually one was a touchdown. And then he had a lot of passes to I forget who it was. Yes, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews was a big player in that game, but our defense was really lacking. We had 2 sacks for 2 big sacks for negative yards, and just a lot of stuff that shouldn't have happened. I mean, there was actually one-off throw that I was really confused about with Lamar, where he threw for an interception. It was literally just thrown to an open field. I don't really know what was going on there. Um, it was a bit unfortunate.
Well, he's not an accurate quarterback, so I love Lamar. I love Lamar, but I do have this to say. We'll mess with my game here, trying to figure things out. But so like he played fantastically, right? He played great. He's played great all season. He didn't get paid over the offseason. I thought that the Ravens were just waiting because they're nervous of his play style. I'm starting to lean more towards I don't actually think the Ravens have the money to actually pay him. And it's not that they don't have the cap space to do it. When you pay a player guaranteed money, you have to take whatever money is guaranteed and you have to put it in an escrow account where it has to just sit so that the player gets it at some point. I don't fully know how that works, but I do know that part of it. Lamar wants more guaranteed money than what Deshaun Watson got. That's a lot of money. That's a quarter of a. I mean, Deshaun Watson, $230 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed. Lamar wants more. That's $250,000 fully guaranteed. I know these are billionaire owners supposedly, right? I mean, a lot of them are billionaires. I mean, Mark Davis is probably the only one that's an actual millionaire because I do believe he lost a lot of money when he moved the team to Vegas just because he built the stadium supposedly with his own money. He's being investigated by the IRS, though, so that's a whole different. When you get investigated by the IRS, you don't mess around, and I think you mess around with the money. So I don't know if the Ravens just don't want to pay $250 million and put that in an account. I don't know what's going on, but the price goes up every single week. Like, he's gonna go somewhere else. One of these other extremely rich owners that are new owners in the league are gonna take a shot at him, and I just don't think the Ravens are gonna have him for the rest of his career if this continues the way he's playing.
Yeah, something tells me he's gonna be a free agent by the end of the season. And that really worries me because we have what are we gonna fall back on after him? I have no idea, honestly.
Without him, your team's nothing, pretty much. To be fair, he carries the team, like you said earlier.
Yeah, he is making the team offensively right now, honestly, and there's really nothing making the team defensively. So, um, yeah, we're in some dire straits for the future, but I think we have a good outlook for the rest of the season. I'm happy the way this past Sunday went. Um, so yeah, I guess that was my outlook on this past game.
Yeah, and like part of the reason your defense maybe isn't as good as it has been in the past is your defensive coordinator, your former defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale. He's one of the best defensive minds in all of football. He left for the New York Giants defensive coordinator job, same job, decided to leave Baltimore. I have a lot of questions on why he decided to leave Baltimore to go to New York for the same job. I'm sure Baltimore is paying him quite well. I'm sure New York's probably paying him better, but that was an interesting thing to me. And the Dolphins game, still looking back at that, like there was so many question marks with that defense in that game. I don't know if you guys will be contenders, but I can't even talk trash because right now you guys are better than me, my team, and it hurts me to actually say that. There's not a lot of things that I can say. I mean, I can say Lamar can't throw, but I got Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback, so I'd rather have Cooper Kush at this point, to be honest with you. And that brings me to
Cooper
Nate.
Rush.
Huh?
Cooper Rush. It's not
What?
Crush.
But everybody's been calling him Cooper Kush on Twitter, so I'm just getting with the trend. So, yeah. But that brings me to Nate. Cowboys, Monday Night Football. What a game that was, huh?
I try to tell y'all, man. I try to tell y'all. Y'all don't believe me. I mean, come on. These boys can ball.
We still don't. We still don't believe. I'm gonna be honest. We still don't.
You're 2-1, right? We're 2-1. You're 1-2.
I'm vibing.
Your team's fine.
Vibing, bro.
But this game was kind of just a reminder to say, Daddy's back home. The Giants are playing around. Eagles are playing around. Reds. Sorry, not excuse me.
Whoa. Eagles are not playing around. The Eagles are good.
They're playing
Eagles are
around.
very good.
Yeah, but they haven't met the Cowboys yet. That's why they're playing around, man. Daddy's not home. He's been away for a minute. Dak Prescott got hurt, so he had to leave for a little bit. But now he's back and he's trying to handle business. That business is the Giants. That business is the Commanders. That business is the Eagles. And so, it's just a reminder that Cowboys still run the NFC. The NFC East still runs through Dallas. No matter what way you slice it, NFC East runs through Dallas. The NFC, for that matter, runs through Dallas. This is what this game is proving. Wow, that was wild.
That's a pretty bold statement, but this is a Cowboys fan, delusional Cowboys fan in the room. So it's why you're here. I mean, the Cowboys fans are about the same as delusional Patriot fans are. Same level. The Patriots just always, for a long time, but the Patriots actually won some things. Y'all haven't won anything since 1995, so.
Hey, but my quarterback doesn't make out with his son. So, I'll take the Cowboys' success
true.
over
That's
making
true.
out with his son.
I'd assume Dak knows how to gritty at least a little better than the current Patriots quarterback does.
Yeah, that was awful. I'm not gonna lie, that was awful. Set back white people 300 years. Like, that was awful. But yeah, this game just proves how many playmakers we got. I think DeMarcus Lawrence got hurt. Don't really know the number of his injury or whatever. So that kind of sucks. But you still have Michael Parsons. You still have Trayvon Diggs, game-winning interception. Cooper Kush, Cooper Rush, whatever you want to call him. And even CD Lamb. CD Lamb is proving himself that, yeah, he's that number one guy. He's that guy. He's him. And so, this is a reminder the Cowboys still run the NFC East. I'm very excited for the Eagles game. I don't know when that is, but I'm very excited for that game. See how that shapes out.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure when the Eagles game is either. That's going to be a fantastic matchup. But last night, for the first time in a very long time, the Cowboys saw, Monday night, my bad. Monday night, the Cowboys, for the first time in a long time, actually saw Ezekiel Elliott play extremely good football. I haven't seen Zeke run like that in years. It's been years since I've seen Zeke actually play like that. Tony Pollard had 100 yards himself. Your offense looked very good. Now, again, was the Giants. I know they were 2-0. Was the Giants. Let's bring it back down to earth, though. I don't know if the NFC runs through you. Although they look good, I don't even know if you're the best team in your division. Not to talk trash, but big fan of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Jalen Hurts looks like he could be an MVP candidate. But it was a fantastic game. What a comeback. CD Lamb, little redemption, that one-handed catch. One of the best plays I've seen this season so far. And Zeke, the way he played, loved it. Jason Peters switching over to guard for them was huge in the run game aspect. Him at guard, what a big dude he is. I know he's older. He's like 40 years old, but he was fantastic at guard. What a game it was. It was exciting. That brings us to our last guy in the room, the only guy in this room whose team doesn't have a single loss yet, even if they did have a butt punt and, looked like they should have lost that game, even though they didn't even have 20 minutes of possession time in that game. They still somehow beat the Buffalo Bills, who looked unstoppable in week 2, but were stopped by the Dolphins in week 3. Micah, how do you feel about the Miami Dolphins? They got a matchup this weekend with the Cincinnati Bengals. run me through your thoughts, what you were thinking after that butt punt. Okay. Run me through the thoughts after what you were thinking after Josh Allen couldn't deliver a pass. I mean, give me what was going through your mind during all of that?
Yeah, as soon as like I feel like is my sound okay? Is it good? Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's whenever I was watching it come down to the very end and he was throwing really bad passes, I felt really good. I could not wait. I have not seen the Dolphins play this good since Dan Marino, I'd say. So, and I wasn't even alive. No, he ended in 2000. So that's like, yeah, I'm 20. So I was not alive. So that's saying something. But no, like whenever it came down to it, I was watching it. I was like, he's messing up, he's choking, and I'm happy because it just, I don't know. This was a win that came out of nowhere. We were expected to lose this game. The Bills were missing some guys, some key players, but still we expected to lose this. So for us to pull this out was pretty insane. As far as like the the butt punt, that was the funniest thing I've seen all week because I did not expect to see that at all. He really the defensive player backed way up. He wasn't supposed to do that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you were watching that,
Yeah, so like I punted a little bit in high school. So the personal protector is the guy that, for people that don't know this, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the personal protector is the guy that Thomas Morstead hit the ball off his butt. He is the guy that actually calls for the snap on the punts. He's not in a situation like that where you're backed up at the 1 yard line. The personal protector is supposed to push forward in hopes that the offensive line can hold up the coverage so that the punter can even have a chance at getting the ball off. In a lot of situations when you're backed up like that, the punt is high percentage going to get blocked because normally you have about 15 to 13 yards of leeway room between the line of scrimmage and where the punter is. When you're there, you have about 8.5 because the punter has to stand about 1.5 yards before the end of the goal line so that you don't turn out to be like Dan Orlovsky or Jimmy G and just run right out the back of the end zone, because you don't want to do that because that's embarrassing. And that'll be a highlight that lives on forever. Just anytime Dan Orlovsky says anything on ESPN, just go right to his Twitter mentions, because immediately what you're going to see is just a video of him running out of the back of the end zone. And poor Jimmy G, that's going to be the same thing for him. Glad Thomas Morstead doesn't do anything on social media, because that's the only thing you'd see for the rest of his career as well. But the personal protector backed up instead of moving forward like he's supposed to. Morstead probably could have shortened up that punt a little bit. He could have shortened up his steps just to get the ball off. He didn't. I thought personally the best idea was to take a safety to begin with. That he should have taken the snap, probably just ran to the right, just like in a straight line, took some time off the clock, and then slid, took the safety, because I had a pretty good feeling Buffalo was going to block it anyways. Then the butt punt happened. It did take some time off the clock. Luckily, you guys came out with a win. Buffalo just ran out of time. And what really happened, the mistake happened in the first half too. At the end of the first half, Buffalo threw a pass to Stephon Diggs over the middle. Instead of him going down immediately upon catching the ball, they were in field goal range immediately upon him catching it. He could have went down, kicked a field goal. He ran to the sidelines, and right before he stepped out, clock ran out. Yeah. They ran out of time.
Yeah.
Then again, same thing, same situation. You think that they would have corrected these problems. Buffalo throws it across the middle. The guy, instead of immediately falling down, runs up the middle a little bit, which is going to take up time, and then falls. Which, yeah, great, you got a couple extra yards for the kicker, but if you don't have enough time to actually, clock the ball, I mean, ask Dak Prescott about this. If you don't got enough time to clock the ball, you can't get the field goal off.
Cold.
So
That's cold.
had to bring it up. But yeah, it was an interesting game. They play the Bengals Thursday night. Bengals are 1-2. It's a game in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you think you guys go 4-0? This is the quarterback battle of that former draft they were in, the 2020 draft, Tua versus Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
It's an exciting little time because, like, for a long time it looked like Joe Burrow was easily a better, guy, but like Tua this past season has proved that he could be a franchise guy. It's an interesting little matchup, one that could actually happen for a long time in the AFC. How do you feel about it?
I feel really good about it personally because going up against them, they're both really good quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, um, I mean, he's a solid guy, but I think really what it comes down to is who do you have on your team? And the Dolphins having Tyreek and Waddle, those are, I mean, against any team, that's some major weapons going into any game. So Tua having that gives them an advantage right off the bat. Of course, I'm going to say Tua is a better quarterback than Burrow. But I mean, Burrow's not bad. He's just had some rough games. So
I think your receivers just match up with Tua's play style a bit better than Joe Burrow's receivers do, or really any of his offensive line do with him.
yeah. So
I think Joe Burrow's receivers actually match up really well to his play style, though. And I think Tua's does well too. I think Joe's problem, and this actually was an interesting stat that I saw the other day about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had one of the highest completion percentages in NFL history last year, throwing into double coverage. Throwing into double coverage is a tough thing to do because you got to thread it between two these are pro defenders. These aren't like people you're playing off the street. These are pro defenders that get paid millions to do their job. Having that high, he had it was 70 something, high 70s, which is an insane number to have. So he's probably doing the same thing he is this year, throwing into double coverage, and that's probably why he's getting picked off and why they're not being as successful. I knew when I heard that stat that I thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to have a slide because people were just going to probably cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins just a little bit better. And if they did that, Joe Burrow was going to try to force the ball. That's why I like Tua a lot, though, because Tua doesn't force the ball. Tua is very accurate and throws it on a dime, and he's not afraid to check it down and just take what the defense is giving him, which is what a franchise quarterback does. So I think that's why this matchup's going to be good. It's actually the 1-year anniversary of the Urban Meyer fiasco. Last year, 1 year ago, Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars went to Cincinnati for a Thursday night football game. Jacksonville lost horrendously. Cincinnati Bengals became a team. Urban Meyer decided not to go on with the team back because he wanted to see his grandkids. What he really wanted to see was a 20-year-old in his bar. So, happy 1-year anniversary to Urban Meyer, completely ruining his career. Shout out to Urban. But that is this week, and that's exciting for me specifically because that was one of the greatest storylines of all time, maybe in NFL history, because it's unprecedented and you're never going to see it again because the head coach is always going to get on the team playing with the team. But, yeah, shout out Urban. Miss you down there in Jacksonville because Jacksonville now looks like a squad. You could have had this squad if you would have been able to actually be a decent head coach. But moving on, we got some headlines around the NFL. We'll just bounce around. We got a couple of them. Chargers offensive tackle Rashawn Slater is out for the season. He's possibly one of the best linemen in his entire division, easily the best lineman on his team, and he's only in his second career year in the NFL, which is a significant loss to the Chargers' run game. And the run game is really important to their offense because that's how you get Austin Eckler involved. That's how you keep that's how you're going to keep the defense honest. And Herbert's really good, but Herbert right now is going through a bit of a rib injury with some rib cartilage that he sustained in the Chiefs game. So if we're going to have trouble protecting him from this point on, it's going to be bad for Justin Herbert, who's already struggling with a bit of an injury. And I just don't know. It's not good for the Chargers. It looks like things could get pretty dark here for them over the next few weeks just because you can't protect Herbert when he's hurt like this. He's not going to be able to throw the ball deep to Mike Williams. Keenan Allen hasn't been healthy, and they need him back. Hopefully when they get him back, the Chargers will be able to perform better, but this is a massive loss for the Chargers. Some other injury news. Mac Jones is likely going to miss some time with a very severe, significant high ankle sprain. The Pats offense has looked pretty horrendous, and it'll now be led by Brian Hoyer, who's been in the league forever, but he's not Mac Jones. Brian Hoyer's a fairly average quarterback. I like him a lot, but it brings up an interesting question. With Mac Jones probably going to be out a few weeks, he said it's a day-to-day thing. He said, ask Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick didn't care to answer. I think Mac Jones is likely going to miss some time. They haven't looked good. It's now week 4. Are the Patriots, are they bound to miss the playoffs this year? I mean, they have two really good teams in their division. The Jets look improved. It's a tough slate. Micah, what do you think? Are the Patriots actually going to make the playoffs this year or no?
No, I don't think so. They are looking absolutely terrible right now. I don't think I've seen them look this bad in a while. So it's been a shock, but like I don't know. I can't see them actually. I can maybe see them being, if they get their act together, they can be a wild card. But that's if they get their act together. Um, their problem, they just don't. They're just not working well together. Their defense isn't there. I mean, their offense is okay, but like their defense has just not been there. It's not been there like the past years. So I know when the Dolphins played them, it just was not. Was not there at all. So yeah, so I don't think so personally. That's a take from me, but it's gonna take a lot to change that if they're gonna get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and while they still do have Bill Belichick, Joe Judge and Matt Patricia in charge of that offense, and I don't have any faith. And with Brian Hoyer running it, Bailey Zappi backing it up, I'm just not a big believer in the Patriots. Nate, do you think the Patriots could make the playoffs this year? It's a very deep AFC. There's a lot of talented teams.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't really think so. I mean, even look at you guys' division. You know, the Ravens, Steelers if they get their act together, the Browns once they get.
It's not going to happen. Steelers ain't going to get it together. I promise you that. Unless they play Kenny this week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it's kind of hard to put your franchise into a guy's hands that are so small. So you know, you really I don't know if I would trust Kenny Pickett, you know, at the wheel.
How does my hand look big?
I mean, you're a tall man, so yes.
Me and Kenny Pickett have the same size hands.
Dang. Still.
Are you serious?
Yes. So my hand can grip a football pretty well. I hate the small hand slander. So this is how you know if you got the same size hand as Kenny Pickett. You take a piece of paper like this, okay? 8.5 inches is the width of a piece of paper. Take your thumb, put it at the end. Take your pinky, reach to the other end of the finger. If your hands are the width of a piece of paper, 8.5 inches, you have the same size hand as Kenny Pickett. Shout out you. I have maybe just Micah has about the same size hand as Kenny Pickett. Mine is just a tad bit, actually a little bit bigger. I probably have the same size hands as Joe Burrow, about 9 inches. So that's how you determine it. That's how you determine it. I thought it'd just be a little interesting exercise for us to see who had big hands or who had tiny hands in this room. You don't gotta out yourself. You don't gotta out yourself if you had tiny hands. Please don't do it.
I will slander myself to keep it up, Jared. I'm dedicated. I don't care. My hand is literally the exact same size as this piece of paper. I do not care. I will continue the slander.
I mean, you've seen Kenny Pickett hold like an AirPod, right? You know how huge that is. Like it looks huge, man, in his hand. His hands are tiny.
Quit capping, bro. Quit capping. Let's not diss on Kenny Pickett. I love Kenny, my quarterback, friend of mine. So
No, he's
love Kenny.
He's a decent quarterback, you know. But going back to the original question, I think the question was, will the Patriots win? Will the Patriots make the playoffs? I still don't see it. Bengals, that's tough. Ravens, that's tough. Browns, I don't know, man. Like I'm so confused. Like they maybe could touch a playoff spot once Deshaun gets back, but I just don't see it. I mean, like they could, it's possible, but there's just so many teams that have so many questions that they can make the playoffs. There's so many teams in AFC that can make the playoffs that I just don't see the Patriots making out of there. Because there's 2 teams in your division that can make it. There's at least 2 teams in your division that can make it, and there's at least 2 teams in like all the other divisions that can make it. So I just don't see the Patriots making the playoffs this year.
I'd say there's approximately about 12 teams that actually have playoff hopes right now. And I just don't know where the Patriots fall in that. I'd say that's probably 3 teams from each AFC division that actually has a legit shot at the playoffs. And I'd say the Patriots I mean, if I go 3 teams from each division, yes, technically the Patriots have a chance, but only 7 teams from the AFC make the playoffs. So that's 5 teams left out. So the Patriots are on the outside looking in right now, and I think they'll remain that for the rest of the season. Which brings me to the 49ers because they have a actually similar offense, and they look like they're on the outside looking in because their right tackle, Trent Williams, in a very crucial part to their offense, is going to miss some time with a high ankle sprain. A high ankle sprain is not a fun injury. A quarterback can come back with it maybe a little quicker than an offensive lineman. That is a big body, and that's a lot of weight to put on your ankle, especially as an offensive lineman, especially as a left tackle in the NFL. And the offense is completely centered around strictly the tackle's blocking ability. So they got Mike McGlinchey on the right side. They have Trent Williams normally on the left-hand side. And their offense is completely predicated on outside zones because that's just kind of how that Shanahan West Coast style offense is run. Because if you can get the outside zone rolling, you can get the play action game going strong as well with some Jimmy G rollouts or whatever quarterback is playing in that system. Green Bay runs that same system. A little different, but pretty similar because Rodgers is just a little different than the quarterbacks they have. The Rams run that system. A lot of teams in the NFL currently run that system. And I think the 49ers are in trouble without Trent Williams. They're going to have to use George Kittle more as a blocker, which is not great for their passing offense because none of the weapons have looked on point so far. Brandon Ayuk hasn't looked great. Deebo Samuel does not look like the Deebo Samuel of last year. Kittle hasn't put up any numbers. None of the offensive players on their team have put up any numbers. I don't know if it's a quarterback issue. I don't know what the problem is. A lot of people on the internet are saying that maybe Mike McDaniel leaving, he was the run game coordinator last year. Maybe that's a big problem for the 49ers because people said that guy's a mastermind. Offensively, he's an offensive genius. And he's gone, and now the 49ers offense does not look anywhere near as good, and the Dolphins are 3-0. So with that being said, I think the 49ers are in big trouble, especially with the loss of Trent Williams. And some more final injury news that's going to kind of jolt us into another conversation, another interesting conversation. Sterling Shepard, the best wide receiver on the Giants roster, most productive wide receiver on the Giants roster, not the highest paid. That goes to Kenny Golladay, and Kenny Golladay is easily the most overpaid player in the entire NFL. There's an issue there with him and the organization. I don't know. He was a dog in Detroit when he was with Matthew Stafford. Ever since getting paid by the Giants, he just has not looked the same at all. And it's concerning because now the Giants are out Sterling Shepard. They need Kenny Golladay to step up. And 2 weeks ago, Kenny Golladay was benched for David Sills V, who was as a 13-year-old, was offered a full ride to USC by Lane Kiffin as a quarterback. So David Sills, not undrafted guy, not supposed to be taking the place of the highest paid wide receiver on your roster. But Sterling Shepard has always been productive for the Giants. He's always been very good. He played with Odell back in the day, and Odell tweeted about his injury. Odell was complaining about turf because it happened to Odell in the Super Bowl. Odell tore his ACL on the turf, specifically coming across the 50-yard line where it was painted, where it was kind of fresh paint, kind of slick, and it kind of right there, just his ACL exploded on him. That same kind of thing happened to Sterling Shepard last night, except MetLife Stadium kind of has a bad rap. A lot of guys have got injured there in the past. This is not Sterling Shepard's first injury there. Sterling Shepard was non-contact, just blew his knee out. And Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa in the same game in 2020, both season-ending lower body injuries. 5 other 49ers players in that game sustained lower body injuries and could not return. Zach Banner tore his ACL in week 1 in the season opener for 2020 for the Pittsburgh Steelers and pretty much found his way out of the league because of it. Kyle Fuller this year for the Baltimore Ravens in week 1 tore his ACL playing at MetLife Stadium versus the Jets. MetLife Stadium's turf is an issue, which brings me to ask the question, should all NFL teams play on grass or turf? And should turf and grass just be more highly regulated by the NFL? Because right now there are pretty much no real regulations on field in the NFL. And when you look at other sports across the globe that use similar surfaces like soccer in Europe, there is a specific rule on how high the grass is supposed to be, how whatever it's supposed to be. The grass on soccer fields across the world is very good, and we do not have the same kind of rules for turf and or grass in the NFL, and it's a real problem. And a lot of people have been talking about it. I think the NFL should do kind of what the Arizona Cardinals do. Every stadium should kind of have something like that where it can be very regulated. The Arizona Cardinals play in the desert, yet they have one of the nicest grass fields you'll ever see. They wheel the grass out. It gets sun. They bring it back in. They give it water. It's fantastic. Raiders do the same thing now. I'm sure there is a way scientifically where we could put up a fake wall, per se, around like for these fields so that we can actually get the sunlight they need, the water they need so the grass grows more correctly. It's going to help avoid a lot of lower body leg injuries. Has anybody in this room played any sports on turf in the past? What are your thoughts on turf?
I used to play soccer on turf. Let me just say one thing. I've always hated turf. I always despised when we had to go play on turf fields. One, it just changed the way you play because like the momentum of the ball is a lot different on turf than grass. It slows down a lot faster. The ground absorbs the impact a lot more. Like a lot of factors change. Yes, you have a lot more grip, but if you're really not used to that like at all, like it's very strange. And honestly, changing directions, like it kind of almost turns into marbles because like it just slips under you. You don't like really have anything to grasp onto. Um, and don't even like get me started on like the freaking raspberries you would get from sliding in that stuff. It is some of the most painful things you will ever experience. It like all around turf fields just suck.
And you kind of brought up when you plant your foot and try to cut, it's like on marbles. Like in the national championship game this past year, college football national championship game, Jamison Williams on a cut blew his knee out. Got drafted in the first round still, but completely blew his knee out and is still currently not playing. That's how bad his leg injury was. Alabama probably lost the national championship game because of it. Like they probably would have actually had a chance to compete in that game. And think about how hard these wide receivers are cutting. Like when they run an out route and they plant their leg and they're on turf, like there's no give on that field. Their joints gotta feel awful. Defensive linemen, same thing. Offensive linemen, those are big bodies you're putting on turf. Like that can't feel good whatsoever. I have a pretty good indication and a pretty good feeling that zero NFL players actually care for turf. They'd probably prefer if everybody went to all grass. I don't think the owners want to go to all grass. It's going to cost them money. Like New England going to all grass is going to cost them a lot of money. Chicago going to all grass is going to cost them a lot of money. Pittsburgh does grass, but the grass gets pretty beat up in Pittsburgh. And a lot of times people say it's almost just like they painted over mud. And it looks like that sometimes when you watch a Steelers game on TV. Like it looks like the grass is kind of just painted and it looks terrible. But I think it would be more beneficial to the players if we somehow came up with a better way to design the turf, maybe not the turf fields, but grass fields in general. Imagine if you put the entire field, you somehow was able to scientifically actually be able to do grass on every field. But you laid the foundation of the grass and the soil on maybe a little bit more of a bouncy surface. Could you imagine what the game would turn into? Explosiveness everywhere. Nope. There'd probably be way less actual leg injuries and things like that. Nate, do you have something to say? I thought you had something to say. My bad. Yeah, but it's just my thoughts. I'm tired of seeing some of the better players in the NFL get ripped of seasons and get ripped of money that they could have possibly earned by playing. And I would just like to see a better version of football where there's way less injuries and stuff like that. But moving on, we're going to go around the room and see. I'll start a little different segment. Which teams have kind of shocked us this season? Which ones have disappointed us? I put some teams that down that have kind of shocked me. The Jaguars are easily number one. They've shocked me. They've looked very good. 2 weeks in a row, they've had 2 very, very good wins. They beat the Indianapolis Colts in week 2, 24-0. They also just recently beat the Chargers, which is a big win. They look very good. They spent a lot of money in free agency on wide receiver positions. Zay Jones and Christian Kirk got paid a lot of money. Christian Kirk pretty much reset the wide receiver market. It looked fantastic. That's a team that shocked me. A team that's really disappointed me is the Raiders. They're 0-3. They're in a very tough division. Josh McDaniels was supposed to be the guy to come in and fix the Raiders' problems. He was supposed to help them win games. But Rich Bisaccia looked like maybe better head coach for the Raiders. And a lot of Raider fans wanted Rich Bisaccia to remain the head coach. And the Raiders just wanted to move on from Bisaccia and that entire regime of coaching and decided to go with a former Patriot, Josh McDaniels, who is supposed to be this offensive mind, but their offense has looked anything but explosive through the first 3 weeks. They're 0-3. This is a team that had a chance to really make the playoffs. And when you go 0-3 to start the season, it becomes very hard to make the playoffs, especially in an AFC that is absolutely loaded. But those are the teams that have disappointed and shocked me. Does anybody in the room have any teams that have disappointed or shocked them this season so far?
I'm gonna have to say, I agree with the Raiders. I really thought they were gonna do something, but the Broncos, like Russell Wilson, so disappointing. Like Bronco country, let's ride. Let's ride where? I don't know where they're riding.
Let's ride right into last place somehow because the Raiders look better, and they're 0-3.
Yeah. So like they have disappointed me because I was really expecting that division to be like so good because the Raiders got better. They got Darian Butler. Oh my word, what's his name? Green Bay. Devontae Adams. And I thought, man, the Raiders are gonna do something. Chandler Jones, yeah. So I really thought they were gonna do something, and then the Broncos, they got Russell Wilson. I'm like, okay, now they're gonna be legit. Neither of those teams have really surprised me at all. They've just been more of a disappointment. But as a surprise, the Dolphins. I'm gonna be honest. I was not suspecting Tua to be that guy. But Tua got. I was expecting him not to be terrible, but he's proven himself to be like that guy, and he's got weapons and he's got a good team around him. And the Dolphins have really, really surprised me. But yeah, that AFC West is very disappointing.
No, I was just looking at the Broncos next game, and it's against the 49ers. So that's gonna be.
That was actually the Monday night game. That was the worst.
Oh, that was last night.
Yeah, that was the 11-10 game. That was not a scorigami actually. That score has happened before. Chargers and Steelers did it a long time ago with Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger. In 2008, Steelers went on to win the Super Bowl. I don't think the Broncos will do that. 11 points. That offense looked awful.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson looks horrendous.
Yeah.
He's playing like Lakers Russell Westbrook right now.
Yes, that's
Like
exactly.
bad
It's
Russell.
a great comparison.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any teams that have shocked or surprised them? I'll throw the Eagles on there. I didn't
Yeah.
expect the Eagles to be this good. They've shocked me a lot. Jalen Hurts looks like an MVP, and I was kind of taken aback. But we'll move on to some other news around the sports world. Pujols, gee, I think I butchered his name. St. Louis Cardinals, he's hit his 700th career home run. Shout out to him. And I do believe Aaron Judge is still looking for his 62nd home run. I do believe they're playing tonight. I'm sure there's a Judge watch. It was so annoying watching college football this weekend on ESPN because the only thing they cut away to was the Yankees game. I thought we were going to get a highlight for a college football game the entire time. It was like, oh, Judge was up to bat. He struck out again. Well, shocking. This is all the guy does. He either hits a home run or he strikes out. Don't cut away from college football to give me Aaron Judge, okay? If I want to follow it, I'll follow it on Twitter. But hopefully he gets the 62nd home run and breaks the record because that would be amazing. And I'd hope that the Yankees wouldn't be able to afford him at that point. And maybe a team that maybe is on the rise could maybe insert him with some of their players. I'm not saying that the Pirates would actually pay Aaron Judge, but man, my life would be so much better if the Pirates tried to pay Aaron Judge money. But we couldn't afford him anyways. So who cares?
Baseball needs a salary cap, man.
I agree. Baseball needs a salary cap because my Pirates would actually maybe win a game. These people, they spend $45 million a year and expect to have a winning roster. We probably had 100 losses this year. I'm sick of it. Baseball. Don't get me started on
Arizona
baseball.
Diamondbacks, man. I understand. I feel your pain, man. We're in the division with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers every offseason get some big name. There needs to be a cap, but I hope Aaron Judge leaves. I hate the Yankees.
Wouldn't it just turn into like backroom deals at that point then? Like it's like here, we can sign you on for the max, but along with that, we may or may not have a few extra $1,000 for you lying around.
I don't know if these big name guys care about a few extra thousand. They're getting like 375 million
I
every
meant to say
contract.
a couple 100,000. Like it I don't know. I don't know how that would like a salary cap would really do much. I don't know.
I think a salary cap would completely change baseball. You wouldn't see the loaded talent on the Yankees, and then you'd see like these guys that probably deserve to play at AAA on the Pirates team. I mean, for the majority of the season, the Pirates didn't have a guy that batted better than 250, which means every time he stepped up to the plate, most of the Pirates were hitting the ball 2 out of 10 times or less. We at one point had a guy on the roster named Yoshi who was batting .173. I think I could bat 173. Okay. Shout out Yoshi for being a pro baseball
You're starting
player.
to sound like a Cowboys fan right now. You better stop. Put your head.
You gotta play. You're right. Anytime I get started talking about baseball, I just get overly frustrated and begin to sound like an unhappy old man. So we'll get off of baseball. I shouldn't have even brought it up. But there's some NBA news go. Well, actually, my bad.
I was just gonna say the new rules that are coming in for that though.
What?
Like, the clock changes and
Yeah, it's not going to help us at all. The Pirates, we still suck.
yeah, but still, it'll make it more fast paced and more fun to watch.
Is baseball ever going to be fun to watch?
No, it's
Even-
not America's pastime.
Even at
I'll say that.
even at a fast pace, is it fun to watch? Like a fast pace is not going to make it any more fun to watch.
No,
Especially without the shifts. Like you're going to get more home runs, but like these are guys that probably are not more home runs, but more runs. But like, come on, these are guys that you should be able to shift because these guys are pro base. Like they're literally the professionals. Like you can't just not give them an advantage. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
no, that's fair.
Yeah,
It's not going to become better to watch. No,
no.
I mean it's better to watch in person. Like if you go to an actual game.
Oh, baseball
Yeah.
games are the funnest sporting events outside of NBA games because
Absolutely.
NBA games are so fast paced. It's almost hard. I get pretty distracted at baseball games because I have ADD brain and there's a lot going on, but it's very slow paced. So it's not like for me. Basketball, though, I haven't been to a pro basketball game. I've really wanted to go. Me and Micah actually went to the Sun Belt Conference, some championship games in Pensacola last semester. Fantastic because just basketball in general live is awesome because it's just so fast paced. It keeps you really engaged the whole time. And NBA games are fantastic. Nate's been to a couple Sun games. I'm sure you can speak for that.
Yeah, no, the games, like NBA games, are really fun to watch. I've been to college basketball games. I'm an Arizona State fan, and so like I got to watch us beat #1 Kansas. So those games are hype. Like college basketball games, super super hype. You have the student section. NBA games, really really hype. Like we played the Jazz when the Jazz we were like 1 and 2 fighting for that one spot. Like you couldn't hear yourself in that stadium. I went to a Lakers playoff game with against Phoenix, and you couldn't hear yourself at that game either. But baseball games are just a lot different because like basketball, it's based upon the sport of basketball. We don't need anything extra. Where like the Diamondbacks, we have a swimming pool. You know, the Detroit Lions, they have a Ferris wheel. Like you have extra stuff at baseball games. Baseball games are sick.
Jaguars got the pools at their stadium too, which are sick. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Vegas got a club and they're in zone.
Yeah, Vegas.
Like,
The
that's insane.
The Raiders having a nightclub in the stadium is one of the craziest things of all time, because there are people that are pitch black drunk in that nightclub and don't even know there's a football game going on behind them, probably because they're so locked into whatever they're doing at whatever despicable thing they're probably doing at the time. Because I can only imagine paying that much money to get into that nightclub. You have to be respect to the people that do, but you have to be an idiot because that's probably a very expensive nightclub to get into. But yeah, we'll go bounce around the room now, and we will start with golf, even if nobody watches it. Like the guy commenter felt like he had to say last week. Micah, what's going on around the golf world? You said you had the President's Cup to talk about or something like that?
Yeah, so the President's Cup just happened this last weekend. Um, so it was actually really good to watch. Even though LIV kind of pulled a lot of the players that were supposed to play in it. Like the European captain got changed and all that stuff because he jumped over to the LIV. But it's still really fun to watch. America, the American team, the USA team, their putts were fire. Like if you wanna go watch some like golf that like is kind of fun to watch, go watch their putting because they were making like 30, 40, 50 yard putt or 50 feet putt. Yeah, American. Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, his dart throwing was insane. So he was landing it like just like a couple inches from the hole, like a couple times. So I mean the backspin that these players were getting on the holes here, it was it was insane. It would just take one bounce and then just spin back. So
I was pretty much told that we ran away with it. Like we just kind of Dustin Johnson and the boys just ran away with the President's Cup.
yeah, it was 15.5 to 9.5 is the point total. And yeah, and how that works is the point totals is each win you get 1 point. So like after each team, yeah, we dominated. Like it was it was it was done after 2 days pretty much. We were ahead going into the last day. We were ahead by like 5 points, I think, which is huge. So yeah, it was really fun to watch. But yeah, no, I was surprised at like how close like their putting game was so zoned in. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. And then like just to watch like the European Tour's chipping game was insane. Like they had that going for them, but they could not sink putts. That was one big thing. But yeah, no, it was a fun tournament. But I also want to talk about another thing. Tiger Woods' son, Charlie, just shot his career low of a 68, and he's 13. I looked it up. He's 13, and that is insane. And I kind of want to throw out there that I don't know. I don't know. A lot of stuff is going around on the internet. Like, is he really talented at the sport, or is his dad just like showing him what he's messing up on, and he's just able to capitalize on that? I mean, either way, he's doing like super good. But like, I mean, it's his. I mean, yeah, he has Tiger Woods as his dad. He's gonna be good. Is he naturally good though? That's the thing. I don't know. That's personal. I mean, if you have any input on that, go for it. If not, that's fine. But
Yeah, I wonder. Charlie Woods is 13 years old.
yeah,
Like he's putting up scores that people that golfed for years can't put up.
Yeah.
Right. And I know, like you said, he does have Tiger in his ear telling him, how awesome would it be if this is the next chapter in Tiger's career?
it is.
Being the caddy for his son
Yeah.
forever. I mean, this could be the run of a lifetime. We could see Tiger for the next 30 years just caddying for his son. And his son could turn out to be one of the, this is a hot take, could turn out to be one of the greatest golfers of all time. I mean,
I think he will
shooting
too.
68
Yeah.
at 13.
Yeah.
That's an insane, like what, I don't know what course he's playing on. I'd assume he's not playing on the courses that I'd play on.
No. These are professional courses.
Yeah.
Like even for his age, they do move him like way up, you know. But like even for his age to play on these courses, I've played on professional courses. Like I used to travel and play on professional courses all the time.
Flex on us a
And-
little bit, Micah. Tell the world about your golf. Tell the world about your golf game.
So I used to be in high school. I used to be top 2% in the country, and then I went played nationals and stuff like that. So I played on like professional courses a good amount, but professional courses are just way different. I grew up in Wyoming, so there's just a little municipal golf course there that I mean I shot like 70s on, and it was easy for me to do that there because I got so comfortable for it. But whenever I went and played at professional courses, the roughs are a lot thicker. The greens are rolled like 2 or 3 times, and pretty much what that means is that they're insanely stupid fast. So it's really hard to control your putts. Period. Like whenever I say that the President Cups, like the US team, like their putts were insane, it's because it was like rolled 3 times and you could barely tap that thing and it'll go off the green. So for him to be playing on those courses is insane.
Yeah, I got a question. What's the best course you played at in your golf career?
I'm gonna say nationals. I played at the Disney World golf course, both of those down there, and those are beautiful. But if I'm gonna have to go by like best looking, there's a course down in Wyoming. It's a professional course. It's at Devil's Tower. I don't know if you guys know what Devil's Tower is or not. But you should really look it up. It's beautiful, and they play some PGA tournaments on that course actually. So I mean, it's really beautiful to look at. But no, I'd say the best course mainly because Tiger Woods played his championship on it was down in the Disney World Championship. So that was really fun. The night before I went online and I watched Tiger Woods play the course, and then I went the next day and played on it. So it was really fun to watch that. It was really cool. It was a surreal moment for me because I was walking down one of the holes that Tiger Woods kind of became famous on. I don't know if you guys know like the picture of Tiger Woods walking down on one of the fairways with just tons of people behind him. Just like that was the course that I played on. And so as I was walking down the fairway, I was like, this is the same fairway Tiger Woods was on for that. So it was really cool feeling for me. I took a second and stopped and just like stood there for a second. So it was fun. But yeah, that's probably the best course I've played on. The rest were just kind of like high school courses. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just only wanted you to do that so anybody that actually watches the show and sees the golf segment, Adrian, knows that this is a guy that actually. We love you, Adrian. We appreciate your support. You are a wonderful fan. You comment on every episode, and we love that. But Micah does know what he's talking about golf, so that's pretty much the only reason I wanted to do that. Just because I don't think the other two in the room have ever heard Micah talk about his golf playing career in high school.
I
Kinda-
feel really weird talking about it.
Yeah,
That's personal. I don't know. Whenever I talk about it, I feel like I'm boasting, and people say that I'm not, but like I feel like I am. So it's really weird. So I don't usually mention it. That's not like the first thing that I tell people when I meet them. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
you were good enough to boast, like
I
you know what I mean.
I don't feel like I am, but that's yeah. It's personal preference.
We'll work on that confidence, Michael. We will work on your confidence. It's okay. You were top 2% of the world one time. Let that. Hey, I know it was
Yeah.
high school. You might have. Some people say people peaked in high school.
Oh, I did.
I wouldn't say you did, but like I know I did.
I mean, I've been top 2% in Warzone before, but I don't go boasting
That's a
around.
flex too. That's a flex too. That's a flex too.
I'm saying that just because,
Absolutely.
like, I
Video games are a sport.
mean,
100%.
yeah. I mean, to be completely fair, like, I don't know. I did play for a team back in the day, but it's a really cool accomplishment. Like being top 2% in golf, I feel like it's a lot more like a lot better in my opinion.
Don't diss yourself now. Being top
No,
2% in
no,
Warzone is pretty impressive as well.
No.
Me and Nate are just
The
like
amount of
top
stuff you actually
2%.
have to do to get top 2% in Warzone actually isn't that much. You actually just had to have a brain, and most people in Warzone do not. But like honestly, like being top 2% in the entire world or
No,
like,
country,
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 my
not
bad,
world.
country for what
Yeah,
for
in the
golf. That's insane, honestly.
Me and Nate are probably just like top 2% Twitter trolls, if I had to guess. So that's what I'd say we are. So we got that at least, right, Nate? There we go. And Nate, you're my basketball guy. Some big basketball news has happened over the last week. We have to talk about. Nate, what do you think about Ime Udoka?
Yeah, that news was weird, man. I was not expecting that. That was kind of one of the last things I was expecting before NBA Media Day. But yeah, so Ime Udoka, if you didn't know already, he had an affair with somebody on the Celtic staff. You know, you're not supposed to do that. She was married, so that makes it slightly worse. And he was dating or fiance. I don't really know the relationship, but he was with Nia Long. Come on, bro. I mean, it's bad. Yeah, yes, you did cheat on somebody, but it's Nia Long. Like, how can you cheat on that? So yeah, it's a bad situation. It's made worse because he cheated on Nia Long. Um, and it's just a bad situation all around. Because I know the Celtics addressed it. Everyone on Twitter is asking, who's this girl? Who's this girl that he cheated on with Nia Long with? And it's sad. It's like a sad thing to say. Is just like they're asking all these girls, hey, did you mess up? Did you mess up? Did you mess up? Kind of sucks. But yeah, he messed up. Um, and he's probably not going to coach another game of basketball again. For the Celtics, at least. I think other teams might give him a chance, but he's not coaching another game for the Celtics again.
And like, how could you let him? Because he's been there 1 year, right? Very successful 1 year though. Made it to the conference. Not conference. He made it to the finals. He made it to the finals in 1 year of coaching the Celtics. You have Jason Tatum on that roster. You have Jaylen Brown. You have Marcus Smart. You have a very talented team. And he flushed it all down the drain for, 45 seconds of a good time, probably. And that's just, it's not good. And it looks really bad because then there's people on the internet, and not that people should care, but there's people on the internet giving women coaches a bad name. It's like, oh, this is why you shouldn't let women coach men team. It's like, this is not the problem. That is not the problem. Now, should he have slept with her? No. Is she also in the wrong? Yes. They're both in the wrong. They both shouldn't coach for at least the Celtics ever again. They should probably avoid each other at all costs, if I had to guess. I mean, just because they have then they have a history. But whoever it was, doesn't matter. They shouldn't have done it. It's completely against policy. It's unethical in the workplace, really, especially one like that. But, it's an interesting situation. It's one that I don't think I've ever heard of in any sport. It's an unprecedented situation. It's sad for the Celtics because he's actually like a very good coach. And he was perfect for their team. Like, because their team has some really good offensive firepower. But what they're very good at is defense. And that's exactly what he's great at coaching. And it's a real shame that happened. But yeah.
So, is there like any news of repercussions on her at all, or is it just him? Really?
There hasn't been any reports. They haven't released her name. Who on the Celtics organization it was. So it's not, and nothing's public about her. Everything's public about Ime Udoka. That's the only public stuff that we know. She probably got punished. She should have gotten punished. But the only thing that we know is about the head coach.
I would assume we will be able to figure out here at some point, because I'd assume the entire staff will kind of pretty much remain the same outside of Udoka not being on the staff because he's suspended for the full year. I assume we'll know, because I assume that lady will also not be on the staff. Also, wrong of me to assume it's a woman. Who knows? Don't want to say that Udoka is sleeping out with a dude, but I think it is. I think it's been pretty locked down that it is a woman. But I don't want to assume genders here. Don't want to assume genders and get canceled for that here. Sorry, everybody. Didn't mean to throw us off there.
The report says that her husband. Over.
Okay, I thought it said her, but I just wanted to clarify that since I wasn't fully aware, want to make sure I wasn't discriminating.
You still don't want to assume either, though, even though it says her on there. I'm just saying. You get into some deep water with that one.
Do we know what her pronouns are?
Okay,
we're gonna go off track
I
here.
think we're gonna move on. I think we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a little bit more.
I got more basketball. I can talk about more basketball. But yeah. Let's get off the topic of genders. We'll be here all night if we start talking about all of them. So let's just get off that topic right now.
I thought there was only two.
You've ruined us. You've just single-handedly ruined.
NBA Media Day happened on Monday, and a lot of teams. You got to see all the new teams, all the new teammates. First off, as a Phoenix Suns fan, I'm scared. I'm terrified. DeAndre Ayton, he looks dejected. Chris Paul says he learned nothing after getting blown out in Game 7. And, they just don't look like a cohesive unit. DeAndre Ayton looks unhappy. Chris Paul says he learned nothing. Come on. And everyone else, and Jay Crowder is still going to get traded. it's confirmed now that he's going to get traded. He wants out of the organization. So that team is just in utter shambles at this point. We'll see what that Jay Crowder trade does for the Phoenix Suns. But for the other teams, I gotta talk about this one. Jared, he always trolls about that a little bit. But Zion Williamson, bro, I don't know. I didn't know that man was in that.
Guy stopped eating Bojangles.
Yeah. I think the old Zion could eat this new Zion. Like this new
Guy
Zion.
laid off the Popeyes for the first time in his entire career.
I know.
Shout out Zion.
The league should be put on notice. This man's gonna tear up the league. Like what he used to do to Popeye's biscuits is what he's gonna do to the
He's
league.
fit now.
Yeah,
He's
no.
fit-
Yeah,
He's fit now.
go look up a picture if you want to. He's fit now. Like he looks like a totally different person. Yeah, but Zion is about to be crazy.
Oh, because I remember the clips of him popping off when he was first getting popular. Like, I remember actually like following his thing, and then I just remember him dropping off after he hit, basically the league or whatever.
Mhm.
And then he's back.
Yeah, no, he's back.
That's wild.
Yeah, the Pelicans are gonna be scary.
He's actually thin for the first time in his NBA career. I can't believe that the Pelicans paid him that much money, considering that he's never done any production on the court.
He's about to.
But I was going to say, he's about to, big time. He's about to make a big difference for them. And that team is really good. CJ McCollum,
Mhm.
they got BI still.
BI.
Good team. Very good team.
Good defense. Herb Jones is still on that team. Jose Alvarado, which I hate.
Is Steven Adams there still?
No, he's a Grizzly.
Oh, I forgot. That's on me.
That would be too many big guys on that team. Like that would be insane.
Having Steven Adams on that team with that would have just – if they can –
They have Valanciunas.
see, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, he's not as like hard hitting as Steven Adams, but he's a better shooter. He's better at playing center than Steven Adams is. Steven Adams is bigger and stronger.
Steven Adams was great when you had Rush chucking up threes that was going to be air balls and misses, because Steven Adams is just a dog at offensive rebounds. Without Russ on his team, Steven Adams just kind of – it's almost like Superman just handing him kryptonite. You're just kind of screwing him over.
Yeah, well, now he has Jaw. So that's kind of Russell Westbrook 2.0.
That's facts, actually. Good point. Great point. That's why Nate's a basketball guy and I'm not.
Yeah, no. And so, like, the Grizzlies, they look like a dangerous team. Pelicans look like a super dangerous team. They're not going to be an A seed. They might play the Suns in the first round, but that might be because the Suns will be in the play-in, and the Pelicans will be number 2 seed. I'm not going to go that far yet, but they're looking like a pretty good team. But just overall, these new contenders are starting to look unstoppable. The Cavaliers just got Donovan Mitchell. That looks like an unstoppable team. The 76ers, who got PJ Tucker and got other teams. PJ Tucker, they got other people, and James Harden apparently lost 100 pounds.
100 pounds?
That's what he said.
What did he weigh? Was
don't
he
know.
bigger than Zion Williamson? Did all he do is eat chicken wings at strip clubs for the last 3 years? Is that what he did?
Well, that wasn't all he ate, but that was a big part of what he ate.
All right.
Well, let's put that one.
Yeah, that will leave that in, I think. That's
Okay.
good. We might cut that one.
I might need to get that one out.
I'm leaving. We'll leave it since we're cutting this. I'm leaving in the gender. They will attack me for it, but I'm leaving it in.
That was a fun segment. But
we'll get back to it now. Let me just do a little cut so we can get back to it.
yeah, but he lost 100 pounds, is what he said. I don't think that's believable. But anyway, he looks fit. He looks jacked. And so that looks like a great team. Miami, Jimmy Butler's new hairstyle, it looks awful, atrocious. But these teams are like top of the top teams. Atlanta, who got DeJounte Murray, he has a famous nickname now. I can't say it on this show. But that team looks unstoppable, and there's a lot of new stuff coming into the NBA. A lot of new teams, a lot of great teams that are coming into the NBA, and I'm just really excited for this season to start off. Preseason starts Sunday, so go watch it, please, because I'm very, very excited.
Quick question: are the Lakers going to be any good this year? Probably not. I feel like they're not, but I'm curious to see what you have to say.
So I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, and everybody from Phoenix, we hate Los Angeles. So there is a little bit of bias in this statement. But I'm gonna say no. Um, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. You have Russell Westbrook, you have Dennis Schroeder, you have Patrick Beverly. Those are your 3 point guards. And with that, you're looking at Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, which he's not happy to do. You have Lonnie Walker, Anthony Davis, Anthony David Davis. He's not never on the floor. LeBron's getting older. At a certain point, that's going to hit him. I don't know if it's this season or not. We keep saying it every season that it's going to hit him. It hasn't.
So, yeah, we almost like say the same thing about Tom Brady too. It's like, time's gonna catch him, and it's like, time never caught Tom. Why would it catch LeBron? I mean, the NBA players do play a much longer, grueling season. I mean, that's a debate itself, but I mean,
it's 82
82
games.
games is a lot of games. That's a lot of physical effort that you got to put in and night out. Like NFL players are just doing it 1 week at a time, while you
And they're
might
only
get
on half the game.
yeah,
On the field,
Yeah.
half the game.
yeah. So
Um,
that's just an interesting little debate that can be done at some point. Not by us, obviously. We'll leave that to Stephen A on First Take. I'll leave it. I won't do it. I did it on my other college football show yesterday. I went on a rant. Can't watch First Take no more. But go back to Nate.
Yeah,
Go back to
no.
Nate with basketball.
I missed the I Want Iguodala days. First Take. Those were classic days of First Take. But going back to the Lakers, I don't see them going to the playoffs, especially because the Pelicans have stepped up. They're a playoff contender. Phoenix, although they have a bad situation right now. Devin Booker's still on that team. Mikal Bridges still on that team. DeAndre Ayton's still on that team. So they're going to make the playoffs. The Jazz dropped off, but I just don't see the Lakers fitting in that. Though I pick them to be a play-in team. They'll be a 10 between 8 and 10 or 7 and 10, but I don't see them making the playoffs, the first 8. So I'm just gonna say no for the Lakers right now, just because there's too many question marks with that team.
Would like to clarify. I asked that question. I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. So
That is weird. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah, life sucks every year. So, but I do it to myself. That's okay. Moving on though. F1 guy in the room. I don't know. Do we have anything this week for F1? We have a little something, supposedly. So we'll get to the F1 stuff right now with Tyler.
So again, there's not a race this week. There will be
Did Russia have anything to say, or was that the Russia race, or Russia's not involved this week? So I can't give my Ukraine take?
actually
We'll avoid it.
the Russia race would have been 2 weeks ago. So
Okay, so my Ukraine take's not needed in this episode.
you can hold off on that one. We will be having a race this Sunday though. I'm very much looking forward to that, so I can actually talk about something interesting for once. In like a small amount of news, they announced the green light on 6 new sprint races. I think that's what they're called. Sprint races during the season. Also, they've kind of this is kind of old news at this point, but they've also announced the record number of F1 races for a single season for next season, and that'll be 24 races. 6 of those being sprint races, which is just a really fast-paced, shorter race, which not a big fan favorite. I'm not gonna lie, and honestly, just is penalty city the entire race. Wreck like every corner, uh, yellows, yellow flags just about every lap. Like they're not fun to watch as much as F1 likes to think that they are, and they've just signed on for a record number of them, even though the fan pushback on them has not been great. Also, another contentious part of the amount of races this season is like 24 races in an F1 season is making the season really big. And the season already lasts for a a pretty good chunk of time. So how that schedule is going to work, I honestly don't know. Um that's another thing that a lot of people have been kind of complaining and debating about is like, do we really need 24 races? Like, it's just a lot because again, with like the restrictions on like parts and stuff that I was talking about last week, like that has to affect that. That's going to affect that. And the FIA is going to have to change things according to that. Um, Whether they're actually going to do that or not, I honestly don't know. Um, but one of the cool announcements that I thought for one of the races is they're going to be in Vegas 1 week, and it's going to be massive. Although,
That's Thanksgiving.
oh, I think
I think is that this year Thanksgiving or is that next year Thanksgiving?
that's next year.
That's gonna be a fun race.
Yeah,
The city of Vegas is gonna hate it, I think, because it's gonna really mess with the.
yeah.
Hey, the
Yeah.
Italians don't like when people come in and mess with their casino, and I don't know how many Italians are still in charge of the casinos, but I'd assume I'd assume there's some still involved.
I mean, when the paragon of Italy culture in Ferrari is going to there, I think they can make.
Maybe they won't care. Maybe they won't care. You're right.
But I think that's gonna be really cool. A lot of people have been really pushing back against the road maps, especially in the USA, just because the roads here actually suck, especially for F1 cars. I completely understand why they don't want to race here on the streets. I I completely get it. Um, but either way, I think it's going to be a cool race just for the experience. Um, Viewership wise and safety wise, it's probably not going to be that great of a race, but I'm still looking forward to it. But other than like a couple of contract signings for next year, like Z- whatever Zhu Ganyu, just signed for Aston Martin again. So he's going to be racing for them in 2023. We had a replacement of Daniel Ricciardo, which is every F1 fan has a tear in their eye because of that. Daniel Ricciardo, we've all just wanted to see him get another podium. It it's a very sad day for F1. Um, from his fall to F1, I mean, from his fall from Red Bull down to McLaren and then to um, yeah, it's just not been or no Red Bull, Renault, and then McLaren, and it's just never been good for him since. Um, but hopefully, Daniel Ricciardo will get another shot on maybe another team. I don't want him to give up. I want him to try to get for a podium one more time. Um, and also the Sebastian Vettel announcement for his retirement from from F1 after this year. Another very sad story. Um, Again, would just love to see him get a podium again. Just to send him out. Multiple time uh world champion. Just would be a very happy day for all the Sebastian Vettel fans out there. But other than that, that's really all the F1 news I have. It's a lot of actual like F1 fan oriented stuff, not much like information stuff, but yeah, that's about it for the F1 this week.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I don't know why this just clicked in my head for whatever reason. But for whatever reason, sometime over the summer, I heard that the city of Pittsburgh wanted to get an F1 race. That would be the worst city ever to try to get an F1 race. We do not have the roads, nor do we have the infrastructure, nor do we have anything. So Pittsburgh would never get one. Vegas, I could see them getting one because they get a lot of money. Okay, so like they can probably fix roads correctly to where it needs to be. I just don't think the American cities are really built for those kind of races. But the Miami race was fantastic. So I mean, they're gonna try to come over here because it is growing over here. It is a sport that is growing over here, and it's fun to watch. And it's an event that you go to. It's it's better than the Indy 500. It's something that famous people, rich people with money are going to want to go to. So no matter what, it's going to continue to grow over here. At some point, they'll have one in every major city, probably.
actually one of the big contentious things right now, thanks for mentioning it, is them denying IndyCar drivers licenses to drive in F1. Um, just because
Couldn't get like Danica Patrick in the F1.
is Danica Patrick still driving?
Nah, she's retired, but I just want to throw her name out there.
I was
That's the
gonna
only Indy driver I could think of.
I was about to say, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, hold on, I didn't even remember she was even still driving.
She hasn't raced in a long time. When she went to NASCAR, her career pretty much fell off completely.
Yeah, I was like, I remember her in the GoDaddy car, and I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, I didn't even know she was still a thing anymore. But yeah, there's big contention about that. I don't really know how it's gonna get resolved. I don't really know a lot of their real reasoning for not letting them. Um, there was actually a driver in the IndyCar that like drove an F1 car. I think it was a McLaren F1 car, and he loved it. It was a lot of fun for him. Uh, and they're still denying the rights for them to get licenses and everything. So I don't know what's gonna go on with that. Um, but I think for US races, they just need to stick to actual tracks because I think the main issue is just America, like infrastructure for like city roads and everything. Just needs to stop.
I was gonna say, have you ever been on a road in Pensacola, where we're at right now? I'd rather die than drive on these roads. It's the worst.
Yeah,
It's almost as bad as the roads that I have to drive on in Pennsylvania, and I didn't know that was possible. And then we got to Indiana. Me and Tyler over the summer were at a wedding in Indiana, in the city of Indianapolis. Oh, that might be the worst city of all time. But that's just facts. The construction was terrible. The roads were awful. I think I hit a pothole every 2 seconds. I thought I was going to lose my car. Honestly, I thought my car would never make it through the trip. Just when we got to Indianapolis, but it was okay. It was a fun wedding. Shout out to Beck and Zach for getting married. Had a good time, but
there's a massive story around that whole trip. But
yeah, we'll just leave that for another time. We'll leave that for another time. It was a rough trip, but we'll go around the internet. I just remembered something that I forgot to tell you guys about. Have you guys seen this week the breaking that Dude Perfect's trying to build $100 million building?
I did hear.
Well, I wanted to show you guys the building they're trying to build if you have not seen it, because it's massive. And to me, it's a very interesting thing because, I mean, in this economy, what are you thinking? This is the building that they're trying to build, if you can see that. That is a 3-story, supposedly for Dude Perfect fans, it is like Disney World, but Dude Perfect, which to me is not needed. Yeah, it's not needed. That I believe that tower that you see right here, I'll zoom in just a little bit. That has the DP on it that goes up here. Yeah, I do believe that is a 3-story trick shot tower or something like that. It's completely unneeded. We do not need this at all.
Are they that big? Or are they?
I guess I mean they're massive on YouTube, but I had no idea they still had that big of a fan base because their content's for children.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows the trick at this point.
they've had a lot of big partnerships, though. Like
I know.
they have a lot of like big things. Like they've been to a lot of football stadiums. They've been to the basketball drops in Vegas, in a lot of different areas. Like their partnerships are massive.
Yeah,
They
there's no Mr. Beast plan. Like out of like all the YouTube creators, like it's like one of the last ones that I would expect to get like a facility. Like Mr. Beast, I get that one. Or like a gamer, like the gamer facility, I get that one. But Dude Perfect, I don't know they were that big.
And it's not even like a facility for themselves. It's a facility for like people to come and visit. Like it's a tourist attraction that they want to set up, which to me is even wilder because like I think me and Tyler have discussed, or maybe we haven't. Maybe this was just something that I just watched videos on. The gamer facilities that are happening right now.
Oh yeah.
We discussed this, correct? I don't know if it was FaZe Clan or what 2 gaming places you might be better to discuss that. What they're doing with these buildings is ridiculous.
So a note on that, like these, like, okay,
Was it 100 Thieves that debuted some like ridiculous like place for their people to play games at?
yeah, all of them are
It's
rolling
like
out.
so unneeded.
Yeah, it's
In
their-
this economy, how dare you?
yeah, like 100 Thieves, Phase, TSM, they're all rolling out like these massive warehouses, like warehouse-sized buildings for gaming. And it like some of them are cooler than others. I think the 100 Thieves ones is actually really cool. TSM has not finished theirs yet. Or they're currently working on one. They do already have one, but the one that they're working on looks actually a bit better just from like the construction that they've done on it. Um, like these buildings are like hundreds of millions of dollars because they're building in like LA or in California and like paying so much out the nose just because of the location they're at. Um, and it's absolute honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. Uh, just for like the amount of stuff that they do and how big they are. Um, but like again, the organization cuts on like their actual org. That's a whole nother conversation, but yeah, the places they're building are actually insane.
And I feel like that is where Dude Perfect was inspired by. But they're not building theirs in LA. They're building it in North Texas. Theirs, they want it's going to cost upwards of near $100 million to build it, and it is a 300. The trick shot tower is a 330-foot trick shot tower. It's a Dude Perfect museum. It includes mini golf, a merch store, restaurants, 2 acres of outdoor space. So it is a. It would be something if they actually get this to go through to like go see. Like I'm not a Dude Perfect guy, but like if I'm in North Texas and I'm like anywhere nearby, what it would be pretty fun to see. They're hoping, as I'm reading it, they're saying they're hoping they want to get it in several different cities, actually, not just North Texas. They want to put it in somewhere in North Texas. They want to put one in Atlanta, and they want to put one in LA. Yeah, and it looks like San Antonio as well. So they two in Texas, one in LA, one in Atlanta. Okay, this is a little completely different than the gaming thing. This will be a story that will be fun to follow, I think, because I didn't know Dude Perfect was that big. I know they kind of debuted some stuff for WWE with WrestleMania. They have a watch along Thursday Night Football for the NFL. So like, I think they do some stuff with Nickelodeon. So like, they're massive, but like, I didn't know they were that big still. To be fair, because like,
I'm gonna be honest. If you're building these like useless buildings, I'm gonna call it useless somewhat. I mean, it's not like a needed building. It doesn't do much besides an attraction. But build it in Nevada. Like there's so much empty land. Build it like somewhere in the West where it's like completely empty. There's nothing around it, and just build a city around it. Because like you don't need to take up space in North Texas where people live. Go take up some space that nobody wants and nobody uses, and go make something out of that.
I think they're thinking about population.
build your own. You're saying build your own tourist town.
Yeah, if you
I love that idea.
like, if you really want to go with this idea, build your own tourist town. Don't like take up space that like other people are using. Go
Maybe-
build your own town.
Maybe we cut this and keep this for ourselves because this is now maybe our future plan. Maybe build a tourist.
There's so much wrong
Get
with
big enough to where you can build a
There's
tourist
so
town.
much wrong with that.
What?
To build like a tourist town.
Disney's tried to do it with that was Epcot's original plan for Disney. Actually, if you didn't know that, Epcot was supposed to be actual cities across the country
Yeah.
that were like themed or whatever. That were like, it's a whole thing. I'm glad it failed because, I mean, Disney's already the king of pretty much all media. Could you imagine if they had cities across the country completely themed on their movies? I'd want to kill myself.
Yeah, but Disneyland is like their own jurisdiction. Like they're trying to lower the drinking age in Disneyland because
That's
they
wild.
can do that. Because they're under their own laws and regulations.
Yeah.
But like they can lower the drinking laws in Disneyland if they wanted to.
They haven't done that yet, have they?
No, they
Yeah,
haven't. They were talking about it.
Yeah, they were
said, like,
talking about
they need to
that.
make
That's,
money.
that's gonna create so many problems, though. Like, if you look at that, like, yeah, they're doing it for the money aspect, but imagine just like imagine like you 18 and going with a bunch of your friends that are 18, and going to Disneyland and just getting wasted, and then going on rides.
In a state where you have to be 21 to drink alcohol. That's wild to me. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was actually happening. That's wild. I didn't know Disneyland had that authority, but I do believe, I was telling somebody about Disneyland had, I was telling my girlfriend this. Disneyland had something written in a contract in 1950 that was some kind of law. I might have this next week for us, where they could do something with nuclear stuff. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was. If Tyler could look this up, Jamie, you look that up for me. But yeah, Tyler could look that up for us and figure out kind of what I'm referring to. I didn't expect the around the internet to go this direction, but it's something I'm intrigued. Okay, he found it because his eyes lit up like it was Christmas Day. I could also be remembering that wrong, but it was one of the wildest things I've ever read in my life. I mean, outside of the fact that last week the FDA did have to launch a warning about sleepy chicken. But, I mean, when that happened, I was kind of blown away. But going to go on that for just a minute. Last week, the FDA launched a warning about eating chicken cooked in NyQuil. Number one, why? Have we lost all brain cells in America to decide to cook chicken, raw chicken, in not even good NyQuil, off-brand NyQuil?
So it's not like a NyQuil sauce. Like it's actually cooked in NyQuil.
The chicken, they put so this is how they do it. Picture a skillet, okay, a frying pan right on your oven, okay. You take a chicken breast, a nice cut chicken breast you buy from Walmart, okay, raw chicken, completely raw. You just toss it right in that pan, okay. And then as it's you turn the heat on your oven, okay, you're cooking it. You immediately just dump a half a bottle of NyQuil on it. Yeah, just kind of let it marinate while it cooks. The chicken turns like a light whitish blue. It looks disgusting, but it's supposedly, sleepy chicken. It's supposedly awesome. Why are people eating this? Do we have zero brain cells left? Are we stupid? It was viral on TikTok. The FDA had to launch it. It was supposedly extremely deadly to do. I don't fully understand why people were even doing it, to be honest with you.
The first image that like popped into my head when you said that was like a mom that's been struggling all day and just cooks chicken NyQuil and has her children eat it and just like knocks them out. Like I don't know why that was going through my head, but that was like the first image.
So you pretty much just pictured a terrible mom, which is exactly what I kind of pictured when I heard about it as well.
Pretty
So,
much.
yeah, it was very, very wild when I saw that on Twitter last week. But yeah, you had something to say, Nate?
Yeah. Who? I really want to know like what was going through that dude's head. I mean, like we've all had thoughts. Like I've seen like chicken wings cooked in Hennessy, like where they make a Hennessy sauce, they like deep fry it in Hennessy.
But that actually makes sense because people use alcohol to cook. Like people are known to like beer batter things or
Yeah.
like cook with some kind of wine. NyQuil, like honestly, NyQuil for real? Come on now.
Yeah.
Like it just don't make any sense. Tyler, do we have any updates on the nuclear Disney thing that I brought up, or do we know anything yet?
Okay, so from what I found,
Great job, Stalin, boys. Round of applause. Quick. All right, we're good.
So basically, there was what's his face Hopkins really backed nuclear studies in the US, and there was a testing on the USS Nautilus back in the 50s, and basically they tested it, it was successful, and he was like, okay, yeah. And Hopkins came out and was like, this isn't just like a win for America, like this is a step forward for humanity about like nuclear weaponry. And he released a video about it. It's called The Friendly Atom. I think what it is. Um it, he created a film as like a public service thing. It wasn't really like a kids movie. It was more like a I don't really know what you would call it. Um instructional movie, I guess. I don't know. It it's very interesting. It's a lot like that is going into this. Oh wait, I think you may have also either been talking about the thing in 1967 with
That's
the
what I'm talking
nuclear
about. The
power plant,
1960s. Yes.
the
Yes.
nuclear power plant, or he
Yes.
wanted to build a nuclear power plant in Disneyland.
Yeah, and it was like, why? Why is that needed?
He wanted to make a life-sized Mickey Mouse that would take over the world. Yeah, it seems there was a debate whether Florida should give Disney the rights to build a nuclear reactor in Orlando. And the fact that they actually had the resources or actually thought they could do that in 1967 is kind of insane. Um I yeah, it was apparently supposed to be at the Walt Disney World Resort. Um Yeah, I don't really know all the stuff that went into that, but they were denied obviously because they don't have a nuclear power plant that we know of.
Yeah. So from the way I understand it, the reason like it kind of tied in was that it actually was meant to the nuclear power plants were meant to power the city Epcot. Like Epcot that's currently there now was not the original plans for Epcot. Epcot was supposed to be a vision for the future as I'm reading. It was originally built to become a city of 20,000 as a test for futuristic city planning. It was supposed to be designed in the shape of a circle where businesses and commercial area would be at its center with schools, recreational areas, and community buildings around it. Residential neighborhoods would be on the perimeter. And it was pretty much supposed to be all powered by like nuclear, like the nuclear power plant. Like
Don't they sound like a cult?
it's
I'm gonna be dead honest.
let's be honest, Disney's a cult, right? At this point, Disney's a cult at this point. We don't want to attack the mouse because the mouse does fight back. So we'll probably cut the Disney talk now. Because I did remember that the mouse will come kill you if you talk bad about him, and he'll probably waltz right through that door and kill us
It
before
goes
we're
to
done filming.
IRS number 1, the mouse is second.
I'm here for yourself, huh?
That's actually pretty good.
No, that was pretty good. But it's getting kind of late. We'll probably wrap this thing up right now. And we've gone just off the rails just about everywhere. Tyler's got one more thing to say though.
Jetpacks. Just real quick. Jetpacks are now like actually a thing. It's called made by Gravity Co. They go for about the price of your house probably. At like $450,000 a piece. They are fully functional,
Shout out inflation.
very safe. It's actually really cool. You can also like go try them out for like $3,000, and you can also have them train you on how to fly them in for like $9,000 or $10,000, something like that. They're also thinking of starting their own jetpack like flying league, like a racing league, which that's going to be another super cool thing to follow.
Joyride? Like,
Yeah, like literally jetpack joyride.
yo, it's sick.
Like honestly, I think without the minigun, but basically jetpack joyride. So I think I think that's gonna be really cool. Like just because I don't even know if you guys know much about drone racing, that scene, but if it's gonna be anything like that, that's gonna be so cool to like keep up with in the future. But I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I honestly forgot we wrote that down. So that's on me. That's on me. We kind of went off the rails a little bit with the Disney talk. Went off the rails quite a bit earlier too. It was a great show. That I don't know. Is this our longest show so far? I feel like we just get longer and longer every week. It's gonna be very hard to keep up.
Time we have.
Yeah. We literally gave ourselves more time and literally went right down to the wire with it. But great show, boys. We greatly enjoyed it. Make sure to check out the podcast on any platform where podcasts are available. We're pretty much there. We appreciate your support. You guys are absolutely awesome. Make sure to if you watch this far on YouTube, make sure to subscribe because, I mean, an hour and 40 minutes of watching us talk about all this crap. Shout out to you for putting up with it. If you're not subscribed, I don't even know why you watched this far. So you're probably just subscribe. Just like the video, subscribe. Help us out. We appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the NFL. Check out the NBA preseason, right? That starts this weekend, I think. Sunday. NBA preseason starts on Sunday, so watch that. Probably not on your main TV. Watch that on your tablet while the NFL is playing. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. When the NBA season starts, though, you gotta get dual screen. You gotta get dual screen. If you can figure that out, but inflation's high, so we understand. If you can't, don't mean to get political towards the end here, but that's okay. We hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll get out of here. Enjoy it. Peace. Bye.